Hello everybody and welcome to Confident Compounding with Corey Kramer. Today I'm going to do some quick analysis, share my quick thoughts on, 5 requested stocks that are back here on the chalkboard. If you have a stock you'd like me to take a look at and analyze on the channel, just put it down in the comments. I'll reply to you. I usually go through about once a week. I just went through today and replied to all the comments that I saw there. And I'll let you know when I get the tickers up on the chalkboard, and eventually I'll make a video. I'll either post that here or over on the free tier over on Patreon. That link's down in the description. I also have weekly picks on Patreon as well for $25 a month. And I have an affiliate link for Fast Graphs, which you'll see me using here in the video, which is really useful for quickly sorting through stocks. Especially given that I tilt toward historical patterns to help me guide the future, as you'll see in this video here. It also helps to know what you want and know what you're looking for, know the things that are too hard, and understand the strategies that you're using and what you're trying to find. As always, not individual investing advice, just how I analyze stocks. Okay, let's start with ticker AVO. Mission Produce. I thought maybe this was going to be Mission Tortillas. It's possible they are, but it looked more like avocados, and that's what the AVO stands for. I seem to remember when these guys went public for some reason. Maybe it was avocados were quite expensive during the pandemic, and so they kind of cashed out at that time. That's sort of what it looks like in terms of stock performance here. Let's just see. And earnings. Earnings fell 1, 2, 3 years in a row. So nice going public during the boom and cashing out on all the investors that bought your stock. So initially, I would say there's not very much data here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years worth. It does have a downturn, but this really looks more like a commodity business that probably mostly went public in order for investors in that business to be able to sell some of their shares at a very good price to the public. And that would be my guess. It looks like that was pretty successful. Earnings are still generally declining. I mean, they had a good year in 2024, but generally still declining. I expect they'll fluctuate over time with the price of the produce that they look like they produce. I wonder what it calls them here. Packaged foods and meats. Okay, almost $1 billion. Yeah, so I mean, it's possible during a big downturn this could be viable, but I would want to see that they could go through a downturn, how fast they recovered. So I would want much more data than this. Like if I had 20 years worth of data and I could see how they had kind of earnings had behaved over time. I have bought one stock very similar to this once before and somehow managed to make a little bit of money with it. Not really my super commoditized businesses, especially in agriculture, are just really tough. You can make money investing as a cyclical business, but it probably helps if you are more familiar with the industry, like the ins and outs of the industry, and you can kind of see things and trends that are coming, so forth like that. And so for me, this one just goes in the too hard category pretty much right away, and not super interested. But I would say never. I mean, if for some reason there was a glut of avocados and the prices went down and they had a horrible year or something like that, maybe there's a situation where I'd be like, well, someday the avocados are going to come back, the pricing or whatever it happened to be. I might be tempted in a situation like that, but that'd probably be about it for this one. And it doesn't look like we're in that situation now. All right, next one, Charter. Oops. Don't know what the ticker is here. Charter Communications, CHTR. Okay, cable company, right? Cable and satellite. They have a ton of debt, probably related to, it could be some sort of accounting issue as well, and just the way things are accounted for. But lots of infrastructure investment here. Cable is declining. So, I mean, and I've owned, what do we own? Comcast, which is somewhat similar business. And you can see that it's just been pretty much on the downtrend since kind of wait. Now you can look at this down 75%. Wow. And say, okay, maybe it's cheap. It has a 5 PE. But if these numbers are right, like they have 5 times more debt than the market cap, so multiply this times 5 and you have a 25 PE. So just assuming that the difference between the total enterprise value and the market cap are correct, if you adjust for that debt, then it's not so cheap anymore. We can see what basic earnings look like too. Yeah, they don't really tell you too much more. But so to me, I would think, one, the general trend is earnings are going to fall, likely, and then you have to deal with the debt. So it's in a void for me for that reason. If you were tempted to bottom fish it at some point, I would make sure momentum is positive first. Although maybe it would have been considered positive around here, but I don't know. There's not really a full uptrend kind of going here, just me eyeballing it. So I wouldn't try to buy it on the way down, is what I would say. And to me, the industry is just in a void right now. And I sold my Comcast a while back for similar problems and reasons. WIX. So these guys I think they're out of Israel. Yeah. And they do they host like websites and things like that. I actually used WIX, but I didn't really build much of a website a while back, a few years ago, and it was okay. I have a couple friends who have small businesses that use it, and they really like it. It has makes features easy for them to manage, relatively manage their inventory. So one of them was telling me if they're at a physical show selling product, and they sell something, it will pull it off their website inventory after they sell it automatically. So little things like that, could definitely make a small business, could definitely help out a small business. And let's see here. So it's a 19 PE. I think my issue with this one in the bigger picture is, one, there's not a lot of moat here. Two, as we saw during the pandemic, earnings can fall a lot. And I think that in a recession situation, you think a lot of small businesses are going to shut down or not have as much money to put into their businesses and so forth. And that probably would make this a cyclical business at least to some degree. And we do have some evidence of it during the pandemic, although I don't know what exact role the pandemic played. But the demand for when money's cheap, when times are good, when money's being spent in the economy, a lot of people start businesses, and a lot of smaller businesses can run and get by and do fine. But when the hard times come, they might not necessarily survive, right? And so you got to think that might work its way into WIX. So for me, probably a cyclical business, not a ton of they have a decent amount of history, but they didn't make any money until right before the pandemic, basically. So it looks okay. If I owned it, I might hold it. Just, if I had bought it down here or something, it'd be up 100%. I might just keep holding it for the long term if I already owned it. But I don't think it's one I would go out and buy right now. Maybe coming out of a recession, would be a good time to think about buying it. All right, next one, Dow. So Dow used to be, this is the chemical company, I believe. They divide it, commodity chemicals. And again, we have the total enterprise values double the market cap, okay? They have negative earnings. And before they split, I forget what it was before. Maybe it was Dow, called Dow Chemical or Dow. When was it? Back in 2018. They split from, they basically were one company and it split into two. Dow was part of that. I forgot what the other part was. But they had no growth going into the split or whatever to begin with for years and years. So there was just never any growth here. And they did have a dividend that I think probably attracted people. Yeah, whoops. Let's do this one. It's 6%, but it looks like maybe it's being cut. Yeah, so they're cutting already because they don't have any money. Yeah, this is just an avoid for me. The quality just isn't there. Commodity chemicals are cyclical. A lot of them are getting creamed right now. I wouldn't buy any of them on the way down, I don't think. I would definitely wait for some sort of bottom, and I would only buy the top 1 or 2 businesses that have the historical best earnings. That's how I would approach these any kind of, unless it's like a very specialty chemical company, commodity chemicals. I think a report just came out today that said China was their companies were going to cream Europe and the US. So in chemical companies. So they're going to face a lot of pressure. They have debt, which makes it even worse. I would probably go like total doom and gloom for these guys, honestly, because there really wasn't any growth for years anyway. So it's an avoid for me. And those folks that bought for the dividend back, I'll just pick a time here. They are down 40%, even with the dividend. So don't chase the dividends. All right, REAX. Okay, real estate broker. So small real estate broker. I don't know if I read this correctly. Oh, I didn't realize they were in Canada. To me, I just need to have more time. I need to see how these guys do in at least one economic cycle before I would consider investing. And they also need to be earning money, and they aren't doing either of those yet. So this would be like a wait and see. You could put on a list and just check in on it every quarter or so, and follow it for a couple years. And if they do start making money here, and you do deeper research, then maybe it would be kind of a maybe, but probably not for me, but a maybe. But it would take, I would say, give it at least 2 years and then revisit. Okay, so those are my 5 quick takes on some requested stocks. Often I'll do full videos if I think I have more to say. If it's something I think I might buy at a certain price, or I have some special lesson to try to teach. But these were all pretty short ones. So hopefully you found that somewhat useful. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. And again, put those requests down in the comments. And it might take me a week or so. It seems like Wednesdays I've been kind of going through for some reason. That happens to be the day I go through and reply to everybody. But yeah, get those requests in and I'll make a video for you later.